Hello everyone, I am Professor Amit Solanki. Today we will discuss the next topic of power electronics subject, that is the commutation of SCR. So that means in that lecture we will discuss about the commutation techniques of the SCR. So before starting the commutation technique, we should have to know about that what is the exact meaning of the commutation. Okay, or we can say that the commutation of SCR means what? So generally we can say that commutation means the off. Commutation means off, turn off the SCR. So commutation in power electronics refer to the process of commutation of SCR or turning off the SCR. Whenever we talk of commutation in power electronics, it simply means that the process to turn off an SCR. Okay, this we already discussed. Commutations mean turn off the, or it is process to turn off the SCR. And we can say that the process of turn off SCR is called is the commutation. This article details about the commutation of SCR. In that commutation technique, there are the natural commutations, force commutations, and various types of force commutations are included. Now we are just describe what is commutation of SCR. Commutation of SCR is defined as the process of turning off an SCR or thyristor. It is the process by which an SCR or thyristor is brought to off state from the on state. That means in that commutation method or commutation technique, the SCR is brought to in off state from the on state. That is called the commutation. We know that an SCR is turned on by applying a gate signal to a forward bias SCR. Please read required condition to turn on SCR for better understanding. But for the purpose of power control or power conditioning, it is required to turn off SCR as and when required. The turn off of thyristor means bringing it to forward blocking mode from forward conduction mode. As you know that if you are go to the VI characteristic of SCR, there are three modes of operation: reverse blocking mode, forward blocking mode, and forward conduction mode. So commutation means we have to come back the SCR for forward conduction mode to forward breakover, or we can say that the turn of the SCR. We also know that once an SCR goes in forward conduction mode, gate loses its control. So that means some external techniques or circuit must be employed to turn off the SCR, and this external circuit is known as commutation circuit. So simply, are you understanding? I hope that you are well understand about the commutation of SCR. Commutation is nothing, it is only the turn off method of the SCR. Okay, right? So to turn off an SCR or thyristor, it is required that its anode current should fall below the holding current, and a reverse voltage should be applied across the SCR for the sufficient time so that it regains to forward blocking mode from forward conduction mode. Therefore, to turn off an SCR, the method must be applied so that the above mentioned condition can be made to turn off an SCR, the SCR as per their requirement. And this method of turning off an SCR at highest is called the commutation process. Now in that next, we will see the types of SCR commutation techniques. So according to that commutation technique, there are mainly two types of SCR commutation techniques. One is natural commutation and second one is force commutation. So in this lecture, we will discuss only natural commutation. What is the natural commutation? How it is processed and how it is circuit is formed. So natural commutation of SCR, as we can classify it, also is in class F. And if we are talking about the force commutation of SCR, so in that force commutation of SCR, there are classifications: class A, class B, class D, class C, and class E. So these are the types of the commutation of force commutation. So that will be discussed in the next lecture. But in this lecture, we will discuss only the natural commutation. Okay. So first, let us discuss what is meaning of the natural commutation of SCR, or it is also known as class F commutations. Natural commutation, that means in that figure circuit diagram you can see here, there is the SCR is connected in with supply source and one load resistance, and in that process we can see here how to how to thyristor turn off. In case of natural commutation of SCR, it is a process of turning off the SCR without using additional commutation circuitry. This commutation technique only occurs in AC circuit. For better understanding, let us consider an SCR circuit diagram energized from the AC source. Natural commutation, that means for that commutation process, we have not required any additional circuitry or additional arrangement. So therefore, it is name is suggested that natural, automatically, naturally. And this type of commutation is happen only in AC circuit. Okay, so in that circuit diagram, you can see here, this is the circuit diagram, and this is also the waveform. How to SCR, this is the input voltage waveform. This is the gate current, this is the load current, and this is the voltage drop or voltage thyristor voltage. When SCR is conducting, we will understand in brief about the natural commutation. When SCR is conducting, the current will pass through zero after every positive half cycle. After that, the AC source then applies a reverse voltage across the terminal of SCR till the beginning of the second cycle. And if the time of application of reverse voltage applied by the AC source is more than the SCR turn off time, then SCR will get turn off. This is the concept of the natural commutation. From the above waveform, following points be noted. In that waveform, you can see here, the following points will be noted are observed from this waveform. That is, first, SCR is fired or gate trigger at an angle of del on the source voltage. And the waveform of output current or SCR anode current, that is I0 equals to V0 upon R, is sinusoidal as the load is resistive load. In that circuit, we have connected the resistive load. And when the AC source voltage reaches 0 at omega t equals to pi, the load current or SCR anode current becomes 0. And after the interval omega t equals to pi, the source voltage becomes negative, and hence the voltage across SCR also becomes negative. So therefore, SCR is reverse bias from omega t equals to pi to omega t equals to 2 pi. That means for a particular time period of Tc, that is equals to pi by omega, and this time T of C is called the circuit turn off time. If circuit turn off time is more than the SCR turn off time, then SCR will get turn off. And thus we see that the SCR is getting turn off due to the natural tendency of AC. AC signal are alternating system. This is the reason that This type of commutation is called the natural commutation. It should also be noted that no additional circuit is required in this type of commutation technique. And this commutation technique is basically categorized or comes into the category of class F commutation. You might encounter in many literature or class F commutation technique, which is also known as line commutation of the SCR. It is also called the line commutation of the SCR. So these are the all about the concept of the commutation techniques of SCR and the natural commutation of the SCR. So thank you so much for watching this video.